Hey everyone, this is Mayo here doing a rare unscripted live video. We're going to cover the new update, update 2.1 for Doom the Dark Ages, which has a bunch of fixes and adjustments. It's not as big as the last update, but I'm not going to cover every single piece here. I'm going to talk about what stands out to me, and I will show a few video examples when something is an important change. First of all, we have the Ripatorium. It says here, players' selection of equipped guns, upgrades, melee weapon, and shield rune will now persist once adjusted. So previously, because you always start with the dread mace, if you switched to gauntlets or flail and then you restarted, it would go back to dread mace every single time. So you always had to reset your guns in melee. Now, whatever you have set, you restart, it stays. Okay, next is added ammo and health pickups to Ripatorium arenas. That's great. Those were pretty hard to deal with a lot of heavy enemies if you didn't have a little help, so that's good. Skip to enemy AI. We have this one. Armored enemies will now falter when their armor is destroyed by the shotguns. Yes, this is an important falter bug that was now fixed. SSG and combat shotgun will now falter if it breaks armor. Just like anything that breaks armor should falter. And it's not mentioned in the patch notes, but it also fixes the pulverizer and what's it called? The Ravager. So those guns now also falter when they break armor. Next, fixed an issue where the vagary did not falter after taking damage from the dread mace, direct hit, or AoE damage once certain upgrades had been purchased. This was a bug where once you had the dread mace upgraded to a certain level, vagaries wouldn't falter, and now they do. Fixed the issue where the Pinky Rider armor prevented falters from the Slayer's landing impact, the jump falter. I can confirm right now that this is not fixed. You can see right here, I'm doing the jump falter on the armored Pinky. He is not faltering. So hopefully that is actually addressed. But the next one, fixed the issue where Whiplash did not falter from the Slayer's landing impact. That is fixed. So you see here, I'm doing jump falters on the Whiplash, and finally she is faltering. So we just got to fix the Pinky Rider. Also, I want to mention that there are demons that will ignore falters if they are touching certain geometry. You can see here that if I falter a Cyber Demon with the third hit of the flail and he's up against the wall, he does not falter from it. So this will happen anytime a demon is against the wall, but it could be that they're touching the stairs or touching something else. Yeah, it's an issue that they really need to look into. I imagine it is complicated to fix. In the last update, they gave some health buffs to the Cacodemon and the Mancubus. They have reverted the Cacodemon health buff. I approve. Reverted the Mancubus health and armor buffs applied in update 2. Don't know how I feel about that. I kind of liked them being a bit chunkier, but okay. But they're at a spot now where they can take 2 super shotgun D-limbs, and then that puts them into execute. So I guess that's fine. Reverted changes to Mancubus flamethrower damage. I don't know about that. I guess they're keeping the distance buff because it doesn't say anything about the distance buff, but they're reverting the damage. I don't really like that. I like them being really dangerous at the up close range and triggering flamethrower being a big deal. So don't really like that change. But I really don't like this one. Reverted changes to Mancubus fireball speed and size applied in update 2. I don't know why they would revert that. I mean, were people complaining that the Mancubus had more dangerous fireballs? I thought that was awesome. I thought that was a really, really good change. Don't agree with this one. The next one, Chain Gunner increased cooldown between burst fire attacks and shortened duration of burst fire attacks. This is good. I think everyone hates chain gunners, so if they're a little less annoying, fine. They're still going to be annoying as hell. All right, now into gameplay. Here's an old bug since before launch. Equipped guns, upgrades, melee weapon and shield rune are now retained when reloading checkpoints during the campaign and when transitioning between missions. So many of you will remember that sometimes you would load a checkpoint or start a new level and you had the super shotgun equipped and it would just suddenly have the combat shotgun in your hands. It was really annoying. I have tested it. It seems to no longer be happening. If it is still happening, please comment. Alright, here's a big bug. I'm so happy to see this fixed. Shield charge AoE will now cause health to drop from killed enemies. So when you're low health and you kill a bunch of enemies, they should all drop health. You'll know that you always throw the shield saw and that causes health drops. Well, the shield bash would only drop health from the one enemy that was killed and not the other ones. So now you can shield bash into a group of fodder enemies and get health from all of them. It's great. We have fixed an issue where the shield saw could not be raised to perform a block or parry during the reload animation of the super shotgun. Alright guys, we've been waiting for this to be fixed for about 3 weeks now. It is fixed. You can block after the super shotgun. Also, you can melee right after a super shotgun blast, which is very important, and you can also do an execution right after. That's always been really finicky. Sometimes you could get it, sometimes you can't. Now, super shotgun, immediately execution, feels great. Alright, we have shortened the delay for the player to interrupt rocket launcher and grenade launcher firing animations to shield, block, parry, or melee. Alright, you can see it here. Shooting the rocket, I can block. Shooting the grenade, I can block. Shooting the grenade, I can melee. It's really nice. Okay, now you guys are going to have to tell me how you feel about this one. Fix the brief slowdown experience after parrying or using a melee combo when parry and melee slowdown is set to 0. I set it to 0, and I don't know if I still feel some kind of slow motion effect. I don't know if it's psychological or not, but I think it feels better than it did. People who play on 0% will have to let me know how it feels. Players will now be restored to a minimum of 75 health upon checkpoint reload if they hit the reload checkpoint with less than that amount. This excludes Pandemonium and Ultra Nightmare, which don't have checkpoint reloading. So this is an interesting change so that players don't get stuck reloading a checkpoint with just no health and then just like dying right away from something. I think this is an okay update. I think it's alright to guarantee a certain amount of health on checkpoint respawn, as long as it's not a whole lot. You can see it's actually restoring to 100, not 75 like the patch notes say. I think it should be 75. We're not getting 150 armor and 150 or 200 health. You're just getting 75 health, and that's just like one hit on Nightmare. So I think that is a reasonable change. Here's a bug that I reported. Corrected an issue where the low ammo notice appears well before the cycler plasma rifle should be notifying for a low ammo state. Yeah, that was weird. Fixed an issue where the player could briefly become locked out of swapping to the BFC while using the chain shot. I was not aware of that. That sounds horrible. Thank God they fixed it. And fixed an issue where upgrading all melee weapons could prevent the melee expert and berserker achievements from completing. This has been an issue since May, right? I don't know it myself because I don't pay attention to achievements, but I know a lot of people were upset, so good. Alright, let's move on to weapon balance. Rail Spike Impaler. Okay, so we have a clarification about the headshot damage not being universally increased in update 2. They were just trying to increase it in certain cases. So they have increased headshot scaling for Cyber Demon whiplashes because reducing the body shot damage made them a little tedious to kill with it, I guess. So there are specific demons that have higher damage from these headshots. So it's good to know that they're taking this on a demon-to-demon basis. So, general balance adjustments. Reduced Impaler damage versus Cyber Demon. Reduced headshot scaling of empowered Impaler projectiles versus the Whiplash. Okay, so they are taking more damage, but they've reduced how much more they're taking. and reduced headshot scaling of non-empowered Impaler projectiles versus the Revenant. Alright, I'm not so much a Impaler user myself, but great. Super Shotgun, alright, here's what everyone has been looking for. Balance adjustments. Increased Super Shotgun damage versus Hell Knight and Battle Knight. Okay, so we have to confirm that they're not going back to one-shot SSG puts a Hell Knight into execution. It does not. It goes back to how it was after the first change. One SSG shot, delimb, falter, and then one punch puts them into execution. Beautiful. It feels great. And if you have the upgraded Super Shotgun with the Wraith Stone, then you get the one shot into the Dazed state. So it's pretty good. Oh, and also the Battle Knight. Okay, so we're doing more damage to the Battle Knight. Increased Super Shotgun damage versus Cosmic Baron. Okay, good. Super Shotgun's a good weapon to be using against him, especially now that we can block. Reverted the damage adjustments against Mancubus and its armor applied in Update 2. Okay, so that's why the Mancubus is dying quicker, and the armor is breaking pretty quick. Because the armor breaking with SSG did feel pretty bad after the update, and the SSG is supposed to do more damage to armor with the upgrade. So it's good that we can heat up his armor pretty quick. Increased Super Shotgun damage versus the Pinky Rider and the armor Pinky Rider. Okay, great. Increased base Super Shotgun without upgrade damage versus Vagary armor. Okay. I don't have much comment about that other than great. All right, more ways to take out Vagary armor. All right, I'm not really gonna cover the combat encounter upgrades. I will just comment on two that I'm happy to see changed. That would be the final fight of where is it? Siege Ancestral Forge? No. Okay, this is actually a typo because this should say the Abyssal Forest. Removed the Imp and Mancubus maintain support in the Agadon Hunter intro. Yeah, that's the end of Abyssal Forest, not Ancestral Forge, and expanded the Arachnotron maintain window. This is a good change because this is the first time you meet this complex enemy. We don't need a bunch of harassment units on new players as they're learning to fight. If we get some kind of master campaign, yeah, go for it. Make it crazy, but the regular campaign should have a solo Agadon Hunter so you can learn him. It's like a Marauder introduction. And the other one is Spire of Nerathul. They removed the maintain support from the Komodo intro for the same reason. That's a complex enemy that you need to focus on so you can learn what the hell he's doing. You don't need an Arachnotron blowing you away from half screen. And okay, finally, Resurrection. They have added plasma in front of both plasma gates on the Maker ship, and the energy shield tutorial pops up. It bypasses the tutorial's offsetting. All right, now this is interesting. So you have this door that you have to destroy with your plasma, and it's there to teach you to use plasma against the shield of the Creed Maker. I think that's a good addition to remind players that they can do this, because some players don't use plasma on shields. We have the shield toss for that. I don't think they needed to bypass the tutorial pop-up. I think all they needed to do was put a buttload of plasma ammo there to make it really obvious. Just put 20 plasma pickups before the plasma door, and then they will realize, oh wow, look at all this plasma. I guess they're telling me something. I think that would have been enough. I worry that maybe this tutorial is going to pop up every single time we play the campaign. But, you know, it is what it is. At least people will learn about this mechanic, and it'll make the Creed Maker boss fight a lot better for them. Alright, so yeah, that's it. Very good update. The only thing we're missing is the Pinky Rider armor not faltering from the jump falter, and we're still waiting to see if falters can be fixed when enemies are near geometry. that would be huge, because it really does suck faltering a Cyber Demon against a wall or an Agadon Hunter against a wall, and they just don't falter. All right, yeah. Thank you, id Software, for the update. Thank you for paying attention to the game, making it better, and listening to the community. And thank you guys for watching.